Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel.
In 1996, Gabe Newell, Microsoft Windows builder, realized he was bored. Thus, Half-Life was born. But why is Half-Life so good, you ask? 2 words, player experience. So grab your crowbar, punt that head crab, and let's talk Half-Life.
I certainly hope you know what you're doing.
As you can see here, Half-Life drops you right in. Like you. Not some avatar in a cinematic. You start on a tram entering a top-secret facility called Black Mesa, where you're apparently a researcher of some kind. While we ride this tram, text pops up on the bottom left of the screen showing opening credit. Then text appears in the middle with information about your character, Gordon Freeman. Male, age 27, PhD in theoretical physics from MIT. You're a research associate in the Anomalous Materials Laboratory. What could go wrong? Disaster response priority? Discretionary? You sure know how to make a guy feel loved. During all of this, an intercom is giving us information pertaining to safety and regulations like you might actually hear in a research facility that is working with hazardous materials. Let's move this along. Here we go.
Morning, Mr. Freeman. Looks like you're running late.
The game makes you wait for the security guard to open the door. This is a hint at how you can expect to open locked doors later on. As we talk to NPCs, it doesn't throw us into a cinematic. We just sit there and listen. Or don't. But if you try to move ahead and they're giving you story info, something will block your path. A locked door, a barricade, or some other kind of blockage. This is how the game keeps you from going too far ahead and skipping the story. If it's a locked door, you may have to have a scientist or guard unlock it.
How interesting. Just look at that.
See what they did there? Let's move on to controls. The controls are like most first-person shooters. WASD or WASD, control direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, control what weapon you use. Spacebar jumps, and so on. Swapping weapons seems tricky at first because you can't just hit the number and then you're set. You have to click the fire button to set the selection. After you start getting more weapons, however, it starts to make a little more sense. When you push the number, it switches through different weapon options in that set. Then the fire button sets that weapon. Then there are ladders. To climb up is pretty straightforward. You walk into it and up the ladder you go. Climbing down can be a little tricky. You have to look down as you approach the top of the ladder or you'll just fall. In many cases, you fall down an elevator shaft or a ravine. There's no coming back from that. Unless, of course, you remember to save. Speaking of which, there are autosave checkpoints, but they can have a lot of gameplay in between. Fortunately, you can save the exact state at any time. If you have a tricky jumping section, you can save first, so if you fall to your death, you don't have to go back so far. Now, this is a game based off of id Software, namely Doom, so it's got to be scary. Worried about Freddy Fazbear jumping out from behind a corner? Freddy's got nothing on head crabs. These cute little guys will give you just long enough to realize it's there before it jumps at your face! We're not talking moseying up to your feet and jumping. I mean face hugger distance. These guys rocket across the room you just walked into and to feast on your gray matter and turn you into some alien zombie creature. If you don't see them first, don't worry, you'll hear the super creepy. The last thing I want to talk about is the problem solving. Here we have a giant alien monster that is killing scientists and guards. We have to turn on the test for the rocket propulsion right above its heads, but everything has been deactivated by the soldiers sent to sanitize the facility. As Barney said, it can hear us, and he happens to be standing next to grenades. A clue, maybe? We can use the grenades to distract the creature to run along the opposite side of the chamber, but you have to be quick. The first door takes us toward the fuel and oxygen valves. We follow various hallways and tunnels that bring us closer. Here we find some grenades. In the next room is a giant fan that you have to turn on from underneath, but it will knock you off the ladder and to your death if you don't get back up before it picks up speed. Remember those grenades? We can use those to blow those boards by throwing them over the fan. Then, once it's clear, you can jump up there. In this vent, it's dark, so I want to use my flashlight, but it only lasts so long before it has to recharge. Break some more boards and head crabs. After killing a couple of zombies and a head crab, we can finally turn on the fuel and oxygen, but we still can't turn on the rocket propulsion without power. We go back to the chamber with the giant alien and go the next level down. With no map, we are following corresponding pipes and signs to find our way to where we need to be. Now we have to jump across the gap, so saving first helps. By this point I learned that F6 makes a quick save, so I don't have to open the save menu every time. Now we come across a big puddle of water. Remember that when we turn on the power. We take out these hound eyes, then a bull squid and barnacles before they get us. And surprise, the elevator falls and drops into radioactive goo. But at least we have a ladder to get back up. Follow more halls, kill more aliens, and now we have the moving platform. We need to time it just right so we can get up here and connect the power.
Go away and don't tell anyone I'm here.
Now to head back. It's pretty much the same with the exception of the elevator, but we have the ladder, and the puddle of water that is now electrified. We need to move these crates to give us enough room to jump across. We make our way back to the chamber, and now we can turn on the rocket test. Simple as that. That is the basic player experience of Half-Life. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed replaying the game. If you haven't yet, you should play it for yourself.
End of the line for you.